So screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Let me switch on the
Yes, sir.
another device so that I can also see. Otherwise, it is very difficult. Okay, so in between, okay. May I know basic questions from you participants? So most of the participants are faculty members. Are students? They are students or faculty members?
Sir, some are research scholars also, sir, here.
Okay, so most
They
of
are
the
from
faculty members, right?
VIT, Vellore Institute of Technology, from
But
Vellore.
maybe they are research scholars, but they may be faculty members, right?
Yes, sir. Faculty members are also here, sir.
Okay. So almost 5 days has gone, right?
Yes, sir. This is the 5th day, sir.
5th day. Okay. So what is the topic of your area? This FDP. What is topic? I just not remember. Sorry.
So it is an recent trends of emerging research advances in design experts and in innovative modeling techniques with miniaturizations for electronic devices and circuits, sir.
Okay. This is broad topic. Okay.
Yes, sir. Very
So
broad.
yeah, broad topic. So in one of the devices,
Yes.
we are here to discuss the antennas. This is a microwave device, the one of the passive device. Okay.
Yes.
So may I know what is microwave from the participant? Why microwave is called microwave?
Anybody from the participants, please?
Because at higher frequencies, the wavelength is very less.
Okay.
That's why it's called micro, means small wavelength, because we have an inverse relation of
Okay.
frequency and wavelength.
Okay. So just wait. Yeah. What? So in the microwave, what is the frequency? Frequency range? Okay. Now I'm asking the wavelength. What is the wavelength you are considering? Question is that why microwave is called microwave? Nowadays, everybody is saying millimeter wave to millimeter wave, right? But before that, and you don't know the millimeter wave, we are saying microwave, everywhere microwave. So what is microwave? Why microwave is called microwave? So I think question is clear, na? Questions clear hai?
The wavelength is in the range of micro range. That's why we call it as microwave.
Pardon? फिर से बोलिए जरा एक बार.
Sir, the wavelength of the wave, the electromagnetic wave, is in the range of micro scale.
Which range? Range. Let me know the range so that I can write over here.
So it's 1 gigahertz to around 300 gigahertz.
1 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz. And what about the wavelength? One of the participants told something regarding the wavelength.
Yes, sir.
Wavelength.
30 centimeters
It's around 1 millimeters.
1 millimeter to
30 centimeters to millimeter.
1 millimeter to 1 meter.
Okay.
1
One.
millimeter to 1 meter.
Another is 1 meter to.
1 millimeter.
Okay. To 1 meter. Okay. Oh, some what? Okay, 1 meter to 1 millimeter range. Yeah, 1 millimeter to 1 meter range. Okay. So where is the micro? Question is that why microwave is called microwave? This is, we got the wavelength, we got the frequency range. This we didn't got the answer. Why microwave is called microwave? Suppose millimeter wave. Once we have the millimeter wave, wavelength in millimeter. So we are saying this is a millimeter wave, right? What is microwave? Once you're, this is you're saying, I'm not saying this 1 millimeter to 1 meters. Okay. So whatever you say. So where is the basically micro wavelength in micrometers? Is there any? Then why it is called microwave? Am I audible clearly now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so think about that. Okay. So during, sometimes we can also discuss. Then another thing, why, what is antennas?
So antenna is basically an transducer.
Okay.
Convert electromagnetic wave into electric pulses or electric pulses to electromagnetic wave, vice versa.
Okay. Anyone can also define?
So antenna is basically a device which can transmit electromagnetic energy into the space, and also it can receive the electromagnetic energy coming from the space.
Okay. That means it deals with basically the electromagnetic energy, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I'm coming to the topics because you are eagerly waiting for the topic also. So here the words very configurable microstrip antennas, right? It's clear? So what is microstrip antenna?
So an antenna fabricated on a microstrip line.
Fabricated on microstrip line. Okay, so before that, can you define the microstrip?
Yeah, microstrip is a planar transmission line having two conductors, one conductor at the bottom and another one on the top, separated by a dielectric medium.
So here there are
And the
two
ground
things.
plane is your bottom conductor is a ground plane.
Okay. Now you can see, basically I asked microstrip. And you talked about the microstrip line, right? You can see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So first you understand what is microstrip. Okay, microstrip line. Then microstrip antennas.
The microstrip line, basically two conductors are separated by distance, or maybe in between them there will be a dielectric material or a ground plane, something like that. Two parallel conductors. We may call it
Okay.
as a microstrip.
Okay, you are saying like that, right?
Yes.
two metallic conductors, okay, and this is the dielectric. So a dielectric which is sandwiched between two metallic conductors, is called microstrip, right?
Yes, sir.
Right? Then you can define the microstrip line. Okay, once with structures can be defined, because there is another structure, strips also. So strip line, when talking about the transmission line, the strip line is there, slot line would be there, microstrip line would be there. So once we are able to define microstrip structures, okay, so that we can define this one, okay. So obviously thickness and width and other things are very important over here, okay. So now how we can define the microstrip line? Okay, otherwise you just identify what is different between the antennas and the line, transmission line. We have one microstrip line and one microstrip antenna, or we can say in an antenna, so we have all the things, right? Suppose okay, this is one dielectric kind of things. And this is ground plane, and obviously this is the patch, this is transmission line, right? So this is the ground plane and this system, so obviously it is a microstrip line, and this is the microstrip patch, right? Or microstrip antenna or microstrip patch antenna, okay. It is clear? It is clear now, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
now what is different between the microstrip line and microstrip antenna? How
So
we
in
can
microstrip
differentiate?
line, basically we are using it to input power to the microstrip antenna.
Microstrip line using as input part.
Launching power into it.
Okay. Okay.
We can call it as a transmission line. It acts as a
Transmission line. Okay.
that you feed
Sometimes
the-
we can use microstrip line simply a transmission line, not necessary
Yes, sir.
to connect. You can connect something else also. Instead of antenna, you can connect the filter here. You can connect mixer over here. You can connect amplifier there, right? You can connect anything with the microstrip line, right? So this is the one kind of transmission line. This okay. So how we can identify this microstrip line is a transmission line, and this structure is an antenna. Suppose in sometimes we don't have this kind of structures, we have only the patch, suppose probe fed patch, right? Now we don't have any microstrip line over here as an input. We have only the microstrip antenna. Okay, and in other structures you can see, I'm just making the top view. Okay, obviously when I'm talking about the microstrip, so back side we have the ground plane, okay, although I didn't draw over here. Okay, so this can be ground structures, and once it is a top view, so we cannot see the ground portion over here. Okay, now you can see, so this is transmission line, microstrip transmission line, microstrip line, and this is microstrip patch. Now we don't have a microstrip line as an input. So how we can identify it? This is a line and this is a patch. Both structures are the microstrip structures. Now, how we can identify these two structures as transmission line as one of the radiating element? Yes, anyone, please.
So the antenna size depends on wavelength, lambda by 2. So we
Okay.
are making the patch depends on the frequency.
Lambda by 2. Okay.
So depends on the wavelength we are designing that patch.
Okay.
So it acts as an antenna. The line
Okay.
doesn't as a lambda by 2. So we call it as a line. That's what I'm explaining, sir. But I don't know exactly.
Okay. Once you see both the structures, once you will say, so the property of this structure is to radiate the electromagnetic energy into the space, right? Right? This one, I'm talking about this guy, antenna.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is the property of this guy. It has to radiate the electromagnetic energy into the space, right? Whereas this transmission line transfer the energy from one port to another port, not radiating. Okay? It's clear? We are
Yes,
just
sir.
using for the transportation of energy from one port to one place to another place, one port to another port. Like from here, in transmission line case, you can see where the microstrip line is there. We are transferring the energy from here. It will reach over here, then this will radiate into the space. It's clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, but practically, obviously, practically, once you will see the simulations, so there will be some spurious radiation from this transmission line also. Okay, because some leakage. Okay, some spurious, but it is not too much. Okay, when you are comparing to the patch, it is very small, but obviously there will be some small radiation. So this is basically the transmission losses. Okay, otherwise, when done to the losses, so we have only the conductor loss, dielectric loss. Okay, so based on that, whatever you will transmitting, will reach over there. So, but because of the transmission losses, that includes radiation loss, conductor loss, and dielectric loss. So whatever input we have, okay, this side, suppose P11. So this side, once we receive the P12, okay, whatever power received from port 1 to port 2, so it will be less, okay, because it includes conductor loss, dielectric loss, and radiation losses. All three losses will incorporate. Because of that, the receive power is less. Okay, so once we don't have this loss, means whenever we can say ideally, we can't say we don't have the conductor loss, we don't have the dielectric, we don't have radiations. We can design a microstrip line in such a way that we have the input impedance, the characteristic impedance of this line Z0 is equal to 50 ohm. Okay, the characteristic impedance of this line would be 50 ohm. Okay, so at any point, once you will see its impedance is 50 ohms. So obviously its input is 50 ohm, output is 50 ohm. Anywhere in the point, this is 50 ohm. Okay, and this 50 ohm is properly matched with the source of electromagnetic sources, right? So whatever energy will input over there, so without any reflections, okay, the reflection loss is less. So most of the energy will transfer except this conductor loss and dielectric loss. Okay, so we can't do anything with the conductors. So we just choose the high conducting materials. So that can be minimized. But dielectric loss, it can be minimized by choosing the low loss materials, right? Low loss material, that means tan delta. This is the loss tangent. It should be minimum. Okay, it can be minimized, and properly matching, you can reduce the spurious radiation also. Okay, and the patch, the length of the patch is approximately lambda by 2, lambda g by 2. Okay, once we are considering this approximately lambda g by 2, we have to optimize this length and width as per your requirement of the resonant frequency where we would like. So it's approximately, not exactly. We have to optimize the things in such a way that you get where you like to resonate your antenna in the resonant frequency. Suppose you need 3 gigahertz, so you have to optimize the structure in such a way that you get the antenna resonant frequency exactly 3 gigahertz. It's clear? Okay, then now another you can see. There's another words, it is written reconfigurable. So reconfigurable antennas, right? Reconfigurable. So first thing is that, what do you understand by this word reconfigurability? Okay. So once you will understand this reconfigurability, it will help you to design the reconfigurable antennas. Okay. So anyone can come forward and define don't define reconfigurable antenna. Okay. I'm talking only the reconfigurability. Okay. This is separate words. Reconfigurable antenna is a separate words. Okay. Now you define this reconfigurability. How we can define? Sayyid Salim, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Now you can define. कोई दिक्कत है?
Yes,
I'm talking with general words. Just define the reconfigurability.
Sir, reconfigurable, it can be reconfigurable based on a frequency or a phase.
I'm not talking about the antenna. I'm talking general word. Just be concentrated. How we can define the reconfigurability?
Same device can be used for multiple purposes.
Same device used for multiple purposes. This is reconfigurability, right?
For different, for a different application.
Suppose we have a pen.
Yeah.
Okay, ball pen. How we can make it reconfigurable?
Yeah, we can use it for writing, or we can use it for drawing also we can use.
Drawing and writing is the same thing.
Yeah.
The purpose is same, na?
Yes, sir.
We are making words or pictures. Purpose remains same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how we can make reconfigurable? When somebody asks, see this, make this pen, ball pen, whatever you are using as a reconfigurable ball pen. So how you can make it? टफ टास्क आ गया, लेकिन बनाना तो पड़ेगा ना. अब if सुपरवाइजर ने बोल दिया कि now you design this pen as a reconfigurable pen, तो बनाना तो पड़ेगा. Now you have to make it. How you make it? Okay, different way. Okay, suppose right now you are sitting on your laptop, right? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now you just take laptop as an example. Your laptop as an example. Now somebody asks to reconfigure your laptop to enhance your some capabilities. So what you will do? You can see purpose, application of laptop will remain same. Purpose is not, application will not change. Just remember, you are just enhancing the capabilities by reconfiguring the laptops. So what we will do?
If I want to project something, I can connect some LCD projectors to that to make it an enlarged visual. Can I do like that, sir?
So this is the LCD projector is another device.
Yeah.
So you mean when somebody asks the reconfigurable, so you will buy some another device.
Properties like we can add RAM,
Yes, sir.
increase.
Exactly. Means enhance the task is given to you. Reconfigure a laptop in such a way that you have to enhance the capability of the laptop. That means what capability you are looking for the RAM, you are looking for the hard disk, right?
Yes, sir.
We have to see the RAM, hard disk, any other things you can see. Hard disk means storage device, this RAM, and also you can add GPU, right? Graphical processor unit, so that your graphical kind of things can enhance. Once you increase the RAM, your computation, the other things will be pushed up. And this one, see. So these are the basic things you can incorporate. Once you will incorporate within the same device, you are not changing your laptop. The laptop will remain same, right? We have to see this option is there. Can it is possible? Can we change the hard disk or replace our additional hard disk can be attached? Yes, it is possible. We can do it. RAM, if our laptop is supporting the higher RAMs, we can go for it. If any slot is available, we can connect the GPU within the laptop, within the existing laptop, not new laptop, right? And simultaneously, whenever we don't need these things, we don't need this extra RAM, we don't need our extra hard disk, we don't need GPU, you can just remove it and your laptop will be in your original state, right? Initially, we have your L1 laptop. After modifying, it becomes the L2, right? Whenever you don't need, it becomes the L2 to L1, right? It is clear? Are you getting this thing now?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
initially, we have one device of L1. By modifying in such a way that enhancing the capabilities by adding some stuff, it becomes L2. Okay. So obviously, when we are doing RAM, so we are not randomly putting the RAM. If your laptop is supporting suppose 30 GB RAM, so we cannot put 64 GB RAM. That means it is controlled. And hard disk, it is suppose there is only a slot. There is only a slot. The two slot, no issue. You can add one by one, but there is only one slot. So we can remove old one and you can add new one, right? But simultaneously, we have to look for the operating system also, right? Once you remove, your operating system will go on, right? So GPU, you see, based on the slot and other options, we can attach. So all those process can be done by the expert, not a normal human being who don't know anything about the laptop. Can't this one? Okay, those guys who can understand the things, how we can handle, how we can configure, how we can reconfigure this and laptop, they can handle it, right? So all the process is in controlled manner. Okay, they will do entire thing in the supervised and controlled manner, right? Also, sometimes whenever don't need, the all entire process can be reversed, right? So reconfigurability समझ में आ रही है? Are you getting? So anything we have, we can modify as per our requirement. As whenever required, we can reach our the original state, right? So entire process is reversible and controlled manner, right? It's clear? समझ में आ गया?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
Yes.
I think reconfigurability is very much clear. Okay, now come to the topic. Okay, this is topic. So before this historical background, okay, so once you will see, so the concept of this microchip technology came into the 1952. These two gentlemen, Greg and Engelmann, this gives a idea of a microchip as a new transmission technology for the kilo mega cycle range. Just remember this kilo mega cycle range. Okay, this is first time in 1952 the idea has come as a microchip as a new transmission line technology. Okay, transmission technology, that means transmission line. Okay, for the kilo mega cycle range. The first time it can be considered as a microchip transmission line. Okay, microchip as a transmission line. This is a new transmission line. Before that, we have different types of lines, but we don't have the microchip transmission line. Okay. And this kilo mega cycle range. So what does it mean, the kilo mega cycle range? What is understood by the kilo megacycle range? My slide is visible, na? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, whenever, if my voice is will broke or slide is not visible, just let me know immediately, okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, other side, because I can't see, I'm trying to log in with another device, but there is some problem, so that I can't see what is happening. Okay, once you will see, so I can connect with easily. Okay, so what does mean by the kilo megacycle range? If you are not preferring this both way communication, then let me know so that I can stop and I can move with the one way. No issue. I don't have any issues. Okay.
For a
Just my
certain
purpose is
frequency
to
range,
just kilo mega. Kilo means mega means and cycle means. Convert this. Kilo is there, mega is there, and cycle is there. Cycle used for what? Cycle used for what? Still we are using
Repetitive nature, sir.
particular period of time or frequency.
kilo for 10 raised to power 3, mega for
10 power 6. 10 power 6.
6, 10
10
raised to
power
power 6.
Okay, this becomes 10 raised to power 9.
10 power 9.
Okay,
Yes,
and
sir.
cycle
10
means
raised to power 9 cycle. The duration.
cycle means hertz.
Hertz. Okay, frequency
Okay,
range.
hertz used. Okay, so now it becomes 10 raised to power 9 means 10 raised to power 9 means giga to gigahertz range. Okay, so that time they are not using this kind of words in the very beginning in Second World War durations when microwave has been introduced basically. Okay, so they are using kilo megacycle range. Kilo megacycle means gigahertz range. Okay, so obviously the wavelength considered in the millimeter to centimeter range. Okay, okay, so whatever you say 1 gigahertz to 30 gigahertz range. Okay, yeah, 1 gigahertz to beyond that, but 1 gigahertz to 30 gigahertz range is okay, because 30 gigahertz and above frequency is considered as a millimeter wave. Okay, where wavelength is exactly comes in the millimeter. Okay, but in the microwave, basically why it is considered as a microwave, because during that time this is the wavelength which has to be considered as a very tiny waves, very tiny waves. Okay, and that time because of tiny waves, so there will be no concept of the higher basically or lower than that. So this tiny component considered as a micro. Okay, this tiny component considered as a micro. Okay, and you can see also there is a microscope. So similarly in the microscope, that means we cannot see anything which is in the micros, and we cannot see in the naked eye. Similarly, this microwave, the tiny wavelength, we cannot see with the naked eye, but we can use this tiny wave for transmitting the electromagnetic energy. Okay, so they have given this name as a microwave. Simple, nothing is there. There is no rocket science. Okay, so because of this tiny wavelength considered for this transmission purposes, they have given the name microwave. Okay, but later on, nowadays 30 gigahertz and above, certainly they found the wavelength in millimeter range. Okay, so they have given the millimeter wave. Okay, just remember. So this kilo mega cycle for the gigahertz. The first time it has been introduced as a microstrip transmission line in 1952. Okay, and within a year of this article, this guy Deschamps is given an idea of microstrip as a microwave antennas. Okay, this whatever microstrip as a microwave antennas. So that means you can use the electromagnetic energy for radiating. Okay, use this antenna as a radiating structure. Okay, in 1953, but after 2 decades, exactly 1952 to 72, you can see, and also exactly 2 decades, the practical antennas, practical idea given by the Howell and Munson in 1972 and 74 simultaneously. Okay, so first Howell gives the microstrip antenna, and then Munson drive this as a conformal microstrip antenna and microstrip phased array. So conformal means that can take any shape, okay, and makes as an array also, okay, makes the array of this antenna. So this is the history basically. So you should know before just studying the microstrip antenna. This is the basics, okay. So my another slide is coming now, visible?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
It's visible.
Okay. So these are basically advantages. So you are knowing the advantages of this one. So lightweight, because of this printed circuit board technology, planar configurations, everything in planar configurations. Obviously, we are using the printed circuit board technology. So it is lightweight, low volume, and thin profile configurations. Because of that, it can be made conformal. Okay. The conformability is very much clear. Means we can give any shape as per your requirement. Suppose you just think about the nose of the aircraft. The nose of the aircraft is like a cone. Okay, so where we can put antenna in a cone shape also. Okay, so we can wrap the antenna on this cone shape surface in such a way that so that it can make conical shape. Okay, so it can make conformal, and because of this printed circuit board technology, it has low fabrication cost, and because of that we can make in the mass production. Okay, polarization wise, by simple modifications in the feed, we can make the polarization as per a requirement, linear or circular polarization. So it is possible by making the simple feed. Okay. Further, so dual frequencies or dual polarization antennas can be made very easily, and it can be easily integrated with any micro integrated circuit. Okay. Because of that, you can see in your mobile phones, antenna is integrated with the RF and radios. Okay. So everything in the same board. So it is very easy. Feed lines and entire matching networks can be fabricated simultaneously with the antenna structures. Because of that, you can say the complete device can be fabricated in a single board. Okay, and also you just go through these books and this article, these two books, and this is the article. Okay, so this article basically you can see this is the 23-page papers published in 1981 by the Carver and Mink on the microstrip antenna technology. You can download it from the IEEE website directly. Maybe many of them having these ones. So in these papers, once we don't have the time to read this book, and we can go through this one. So this book will briefly describe the entire thing regarding microstrip technology. That means how to design it, how to analyze it, okay, and what is the radiation mechanism of this one. Okay, so entire thing can be discussed in the book, basically microstrip antennas, written by Bahl and Bhartia, and similarly the James and Hall and Wood written this one. So entire thing is summarized in 23 pages. Okay, so please go through this one, so you will find the most of the thing over there. So I think everyone is knowing the microstrip configurations. So we have already discussed last. So we can see there is a microstrip antennas with the inset feeds, okay, and this radiating structure. Okay, now, so I have already discussed and told you how to achieve basically reconfigurability. Okay, so once we understand the word reconfigurability, now based on that definitions, we can define the reconfigurable antennas. That means we are able to design, we can make antenna that can be reconfigurable, right? It's clear? So I told you in the making how we can convert L1 device to L2 device, okay, L2 to L1, right? The same thing we can apply over here. So this antenna, the reconfigured antenna, can be achieved through deliberately changing its frequency, polarization, or radiation characteristics, because we have three things that can be handled by the antennas. We have the operating frequency, Polarizations may be linear, may be circular, or maybe both. And radiation characteristics means your beam can be changed accordingly. Okay. So these three things we have to reconfigure. So how we can do it? So obviously we need to change these characteristics deliberately. Okay. So once you are doing these deliberate changes, so these deliberate changes should be in controlled and reversible manner. Just remember, controlled and reversible manner. So we cannot say randomly. If you like to change the frequency from one frequency to another frequency, it has to be changed in a controlled and reversible manner. That means initially we have the F1 frequency, suppose, or this one F1 frequency we have, and we would like to change the F2 frequency. Okay, so this is our desire. Initially we have one frequency, operating frequency, but we would like to use same antenna for another operating frequencies. Yeah, we can say one used for transmission, one used for reception, this thing. And reversely, so whenever we don't need this one, we can achieve, means our antenna can switch from F1 to F2, F2 to F1. Once we have this characteristics, then we can say that means it is reversible. Okay, things should be reversible and controlled manner. Just remember these words. So we can go with the one another, just reverse the same thing. Okay, so this should be done deliberately. These changes would be deliberately, but in controlled and reversible manner. Just remember, controlled and reversible manner is very important, defining the reconfigurability of the antenna, right? So there are many techniques. Based on that, we can achieve this frequency, polarization, and radiation characteristics. Okay, so this can be achieved so by many techniques. So what we are doing in this technique, we are redistributing the current, antenna current. Okay, just path of the current is changed. Okay, so because of that, that alters the electromagnetic fields of the antenna effective apertures, and we can achieve the desired characteristics. Okay, so what is the advantages? Once we can do these things, it will address the complex system requirement. Okay, so because of that, so when you have complex structures, complex systems where we need many antennas, that can be resolved by the single antennas or very few antennas. Okay, so we just did done by the modifying the geometry and electrical behavior by adopting to change an environmental condition or system requirement. Like we need sometimes enhanced bandwidth, that means bandwidth enhancement. Okay, this comes on the frequency reconfigurabilities. Frequency agility, that means switching from one frequency to another frequency. Polarization, that means one polarization to another polarization, and radiation patterns also. Okay, so this can address the requirement of complex systems. Okay, so this reconfigurability has become an important and desired feature of modern agile RF system for wireless and satellite communication, sensing and imaging. So once we need different, we have to see very important applications also, where we need sometimes sensing and imaging, sensing and communication. Okay, wireless communication, satellite communication. So we can use this one for this, so that we can fulfill the requirement of these applications. Okay, so like SDR, software defined radio, we need sense and communications. Okay, so we can use two antennas, one sensing and one. Yeah, we can make one antenna in such a way that one antenna can sense the available RF environment, and immediately the available spectrum can be utilized for the communication purpose. The same antenna can use for both the purpose for SDR. Okay, so these are the applications. So whatever I discussed, okay, so there is a shift towards incorporating smart, cognitive, and agile RF devices that can both sense the surrounding RF environment and communicate at the same time in any congested environment. I told you just before, one of the application of the cognitive radio or software defined radios. Okay, so these are things. Now, I told you before the definitions which is written over here. The reconfigured antenna is an antenna capable of modifying dynamically its frequency and radiation property in a controlled and reversible manner. So this is the proper definitions when you would like to reconfigure any device. Okay, so things should be in controlled and reversible manner. Okay, so dynamic modifications and controlled and reversible. So we are doing forcefully, deliberately. We are doing the changes deliberately. Okay. And this should be controlled in reversible manner. So whenever we don't need, so we can reverse it as per requirements. So reconfigure antennas can be single antenna or an array. So it can be single or array. So it modifies the antenna's patterns, polarization, or frequency or bandwidth. Okay. Based on that, we can define the antenna configurability. This is a pattern reconfigurable antennas, polarization reconfigurable antennas, or frequency reconfigurable antennas. Okay. So this reconfigurability is achieved by geometrical alterations, which redistributes the currents, eventually alters the effective aperture, radiation pattern, and electrical line. So any doubts so far?
Yes, sir. One doubt. In the
Yeah.
previous slide,
Yeah, please.
so here I had a doubt about this incorporating smart, cognitive, and agile RF devices.
Right.
This is for antenna sensors we are talking about.
Yeah, we are talking about basically the antenna is a sensor. We are
Yes,
talking
sir.
about the cognitive radio. Okay. So
Okay.
when you are using an antenna for the cognitive radio applications, okay,
Mhm.
so we have to sense the surrounding RF environment to communicate the basically available, basically available environment which is free from the other disturbance interference. Okay. In cognitive radio, what we have the available environments. Okay, but sometimes some of the frequency bands are congested or congested. Okay, so congestion is too much. So this one antenna. So once we can sense the RF environment which is non-congested basically, where the congestion is very less. Okay, yeah, which spectrum is available for communication purposes, freely available. Okay, because we have to see in the unlicensed band. Okay, we cannot use the licensed band. So we have to scan the unlicensed frequency band, which one is free right now. If you have any interference, okay, if you have any interference, so when we are communicating, so or basically the purpose will not fulfill. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So immediately we sense the available RF environment, means available RF spectrum, available RF band. Then we given the commands of the another antennas. Okay, just use this band for your communication purpose. Okay.
Yes,
So in
sir.
the
Yes.
cognitive radio, there are two antennas or one antenna can be used for these purposes. Okay. So one antenna used for sense the environment and another used for communication purposes. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Scanning the available system, right?
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Now, why reconfigurable antennas? Once you see, so why we are looking for this reconfigurability of the antenna? Okay. So now, for complicated multiband and wideband applications, it plays a vital role by changing frequency, pattern, and polarization with the help of switching techniques. Okay. So variety of switching techniques we will discuss later. So it is a solution for the requirement for increasing functionalities. Okay. So that functionalities that includes direction finding, beam steering. Okay. So within a confined volume. So confined volume means we cannot go beyond the or station. We cannot changing the entire things because sometimes we have the limited space. We have to incorporate our antennas. Okay. But we would like to increase the functional, like support direction finding antennas. Or we would like to hunting the RF sources, illegally installed RF sources. Now many places persons are using illegal RF sources for enhancing their basically network capabilities. Sometimes say na कि our building में network नहीं आता है, so they are using some sources to enhance the capability. That is repeater. Okay, without taking proper permission, because this is not allowed. This is illegal. So we have to find, because of that, what is happening? They will increase the capacity of their own building, but simultaneously nearby area can be blocked. Okay, because it generates the noise for interference to the other devices. Okay, so because of that interference to other devices, that will blockage the many of the applications. Okay, so that can be used direction finding antenna so that we can use these purposes. Okay, like suppose defense, they are using for the identifying the enemy's target, from which particular sources they are looking for the strong RF sources from this direction finding antennas. Beam steering used to scan the beam, scan the beam in the free space, can just accordingly they can track the target. Okay, it doesn't matter where this is not an enemy, it is a friend and foe of such. Okay, so sometimes there is a friend, sometimes there is a foe. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, so it is the purposes. Okay, so this type of antennas needs less space. Once you are making this reconfigured antenna, so obviously your space requirement is very less compared to the other planar antennas. Okay, so reconfigurability features enables antenna design easier and compact. Okay, now, so once you would like to design a reconfigured antenna, so these three questions must be addressed properly. Okay, so these are the challenging questions. Once we will address, once you will answer these questions, then you are able to design a reconfigured antenna. Okay, the first questions that will come into your mind as a RF engineers is the which reconfigurable antennas need to be modified. Okay, if somebody asks design a reconfigurable antenna, so immediately your first question will be which reconfigurability property, like frequency, radiation, or polarizations. Okay, so once you will answer these questions, okay, then immediately next question will come into mind are the radiating element. Okay, so how are the different radiating elements of the antenna structures reconfigured to achieve the required property? Right, it is clear. First we got the answer for which properties, then how we can achieve this one by using this antenna element, then we have to see the available techniques. So which reconfiguration techniques minimizes the negative effect on the antenna radiation characteristics, right? Once we will answer these questions, you are able to design any reconfigured antennas. Is clear? Anything would like to discuss? So what are the advantages of reconfigured antennas? So once we have seen the ability of reconfigured antenna has to support more than one wireless standard. Okay, because we can move from one standard to another standard. Okay, so it minimizes the cost because single antenna can cover the many wireless standards. So we don't need many antennas for many different standards. Okay, so it obviously reduces the cost. Also, because of this one, this reduces the volume requirements, and integration would be simple because we have to integrate only few antennas to the structures. And because of that, once you are using properly isolations because of the less antennas, so good isolation between different isolation and wireless standard can be achieved. Okay, so once you are using different antennas, so it will create a problem, but with the single antennas or less antennas, it can be achieved very easily. Okay, simultaneously lower front end processing, so no need of front end filtering because we are defining properly which frequency has to be transmitted and received at this particular time, which frequency for the another time, which polarizations required, which patterns is required. So we are defining each characteristics properly, so don't need a front end filtering. Means we don't need we are not looking for particular band we have to filter out because we have already doing these things. So because of that, your out of band rejections is very good one. Okay, so that particular frequency band we are transmitting, thereafter switching, and we are transmitting other frequency bands. So no need of filtering because we are applying the filtering process within the antenna itself because of this reconfigurability. Multifunctional capabilities. So this change the functionality as the mission change. Okay, so it depends on the application basically. So accordingly, once this function can be changed accordingly. So act as a single antennas or an array. It provides narrow band or wide band operations. So everything is possible. So these are the few advantages. And in addition to that, there are many more. So you just can search and find out what are the others. So once you have to some disadvantages also. So once you are
doubt in advantages.
yeah, please.
So in the first one itself, the good isolation between different wireless standards.
Yeah.
If one antenna is, we are switching with different wireless standards.
Yeah. Suppose right now you are using suppose CDMA. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, LTE or GSM.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So once you are using one frequency band, for suppose GSM 900 you are using, or GSM 1800 you are using, okay,
Yes, sir.
you are shifting from LTE 4G band, okay. So when you are using different antennas, suppose one antenna, suppose we design for GSM, one antenna designed for LTE, okay. Simultaneously you design antenna for GPS band, you design for Wi-Fi. These are the applications. These are
Yes, sir.
communication. These are the applications. Okay, application
Sir.
antennas. Okay. So what is happening? In some of the applications, you can find here and here. This is overlapping. Some frequencies are overlap. In
Yes, sir.
GSM and LTE, some of the frequencies are overlap. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Simultaneously CDMA, some frequencies are also overlap. So in between, whenever we need, so we need this one. Suppose clearly says that we need transmit GSM 1800 suppose and 1700. Okay, so we have to cover this frequency band, and suppose we need 2400 to 2500 next. So once we are switching from here to there, okay, and when you are designing one antenna for multiple frequencies like that, okay. So what is happening? This is the fundamental mode. Then higher order modes is coming. So it will create, we have to design in such a way that then we need some isolation techniques. So we isolate the proper, this frequency band to this frequency band, because the application is different. Okay, once you are moving from GSM to LTE or some other applications, the proper isolation is required. But when you are using single antenna, which is written over here, okay, this frequency band, when we are moving for this one, so at a time one is on, one is off. This is off, this is on, right?
Yes, sir.
So because of that, you can see, suppose the isolations, when you are transmitting any one of them, other one is off. That's because of this fast switching. So what is happening because of that? Isolation is proper. That means S21 means from anything which is transmitting from this one, this antenna, because port is remain same. Okay, so this particular applications, it is properly isolated. It will not interfere to each other. It is clear?
Yes. Yes,
This
sir.
is isolation. Okay. Once we will use one antenna for LTE band, one antenna for GSM band. Yeah, I told you GPS or YPA. So we have to see it will not interfere this one. Then we have to properly measure the S21 parameters, because S11, this is port 1, suppose this is port 2, antenna 1 and antenna 2. So we have to see the transmission from this antenna to this antenna, how it will affect. Okay, because some higher order mode of this antenna will affect this one, right?
Yes, sir. Clear.
So, yeah, so it is clear.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So disadvantages. So when you are using the recordable antennas, so we are using some active devices. Okay, so that active devices needs some biasing networks. That means some activation or for the deactivation or deactivation of the switching element. Suppose we are using pin diode, varactors, some transistors, some name switches. So all those things need some voltages. Okay, biasing voltages. So this biasing voltages needs, that means we need biasing network. So biasing networks designing is one of the challenging tasks. And then this is the disadvantage, because this biasing network used for activation and deactivation of the switching elements. Okay, so once you are designing this one, so this adds the complexity to the antenna structure, and if you are not designing properly, it will affect your radiation characteristics. Okay, so proper care should be taken during the design of this biasing network, because it will add complexity as well as it will just disturb your radiation characteristics, degrade your radiation characteristics. So we need to see the minimum effect of this biasing network on the radiation performance. Okay, if it will give the adverse effect on your radiation performance, so it is not acceptable. Okay, now once you are using the active devices, the active device needs some power. Okay, so it will increase the required power consumption. Okay, so because of that, the cost of the system will increase. Okay, And once, because of these active devices, harmonics and intermodulation product will generate automatically. Okay, so we have to take care of this thing also. Okay, so I think harmonics everyone is knowing. Intermodulation product, intermodulation product, suppose sometimes you are generating f1 frequency, f2 frequency, so what we are getting, f1 plus minus f2 twice f1 plus minus f2, f1 plus minus twice f2. This kind of intermodulation project will generate. Okay, because of this active elements. Okay, so we have to take care of also this, and you have to check it. Okay, so the other thing is need for the fast tuning in the antenna radiation characteristics to assure a correct functioning of the system. So accordingly, we have to select the proper switching action. Okay, the proper switch has to be selected. Okay, these are the disadvantages. So based on the applications wise, it can be classified into 4 categories: frequency reconfigured antennas, pattern reconfigured antennas, polarization reconfigured, and a compound reconfigured antennas, hybrid reconfigured, we can say. So frequency, we are dealing with the frequencies band. Okay, different frequency bands. Means we are changing one operating frequency to another operating frequency. Okay, in the patterns, we are tuning the shape and direction and gain by changing the radiation structures, so that we can say pattern reconfigurability. Whereas polarization is changing the polarization of the antenna from one polarization to another. Okay, horizontal to vertical, linear to circular, circular to linear kind of thing. Okay, so these are the things. So that polarization reconfigurability. Compound, when 2 or more than 2 can be incorporated in a single antenna, then we can see the compound reconfigurability. You can use any 2 in a single antenna or more than 2. It would be compound reconfigurability. Okay, so this is the basic classification. I think it is clear. Anything would like to discuss?
Anybody? Any questions? Any question from the participants?
So, little bit explain about compound reconfigurable
Yeah,
antenna.
yes. See, in compound reconfigurability, what is happening? Suppose we have the frequency reconfigurability from f1 to f2, f2 to f3. Okay, and this is reversible. Okay, this is frequency reconfigurability. In addition to that, if you have suppose LP to CP, okay, are vertical, horizontal, okay, plus pattern also. Okay, so if combining any 2 or all 3, okay, when you are more than 2 and a 2 or more than 2 is combining, okay, it becomes a compound reconfigurability. We have only frequency, then frequency reconfigurability. We have polarization and frequency polarization. When you have pattern, only pattern. Okay, but frequency and polarization we are achieved simultaneously. So we can say this
Two
is hybrid.
parameters.
Yeah, 2 or more than 2.
Two or three.
Okay.
2 or more
Yeah.
than 2.
Yeah. Okay, so when you are combining these 2, so we can say hybrid or compound reconfigurability. So clearly mention that this is the frequency and pattern reconfigurability, a pattern and polarization reconfigurability, or a hybrid reconfigurability, yeah, compound reconfigurability. Okay, so this is when you're combining 2 or all the properties. Okay, then it can be achieved. Yeah, we can say compound reconfigurability, right?
Yes, sir. Clear.
So this is one of the very simple example of the frequency reconfigurability. So FIPA antenna, everyone is knowing. Planar inverted F antenna. Do you know the FIPA? Planar inverted F antenna.
Yes, sir.
I think everyone is knowing, right? So this is one kind of planar inverted F antenna. You can see the line structures is showing over here. Their diode D1 and D2 are connected. Okay, and this biasing source, this is the sorting pin. Okay, to ground structures. Okay, because in FIPA what we need, one RF source, okay, one feed and one sort, right? This is FIPA. Okay. So this RF and DC is connected over here. Okay. And we have the ground. Okay. Now this is the structures. Once we use these configurations, okay, mean DC is in particular mode. Okay. Power supply. So what is happening? You can see this current is following this path. It will come over there. That means this D1 will be in the reverse bias mode, right? The diode D will be in the reverse bias mode. This operation is there. Okay. So this you can see this will form a one loop. This will form one loop. Okay. This is form loop means lambda by 2 mode. Okay. Now when it change the polarity, now we are changing the polarity. So current is passing through this one line changing. So this D1 is the forward bias and D2 will be in the reverse bias. It is open circuited over here. Now we can see these structures become the FIPA. Whatever I made is, you can see this is one short circuit and one feed. This become the FIPA modes. So this will configure one short circuit. Because of that we are getting the lambda by 2 as well as the lambda by 4. Okay, lambda by 2 as well as lambda by 4 here and here lambda by 2. So because of that when D1 is on and D2 is off, okay, this mode is coming. Okay, D1 is on and D2 is off, right? This one, this mode, FIPA mode. And here D2 is on and D1 is off. This mode is coming. So one frequency is coming when your source is in this particular configuration. D1 is in forward bias. Oh, sorry, D2 is forward bias and D1 is reverse bias. Okay, so D2 is forward bias and D1 is reverse bias. On this frequency is coming at some particular frequency. When you change the polarity, there are two frequencies coming. Okay, so it is by switching actions we can achieve we can move from one to another bands, right? So this way we can communicate from this simple structures 3 frequency bands, right? So this is frequency reconfigurability. This another very beautiful example of this frequency reconfigurability. I'm just showing the final structure first. You can see this is very complex, but very compact structure. Not say complex, we can say compact structure. Okay, so within this space, okay, within this space, not too much. Okay, the operation of frequency you can see 48 megahertz. So beyond 1.5 megahertz, 1.5 gigahertz. Okay, so up to 1.5 gigahertz is showing over here. You can just remember, okay, how can we achieve this very compact space. Here we can say this is whatever space available, stipulated space, how it can be accommodated. Okay, so see one by one. Okay, so initially a slot antenna has been considered. Okay, this is a slot antenna, this is a slot. Okay, it is CPW feed. Okay, so this slot is excited with this antennas. Okay, this is structure. Okay, now you can see because of that, because of this structure, these two frequencies are occurring. Okay, so this is about 860 megahertz. Okay, and here about 1.8. Oh, sorry, 1.18. Okay, this is coming. Okay, so just remember 860 and 1.8. So now you can see how beyond that also you can get it. But okay, this is fixed. Okay, now this particular corners, when you are looking this particular corners, okay, this is zooming section in all 4 corners. This all 4 corners, and one more slot is connected. Okay, so there is one more slot is connected. That means we are just, what is happening, we are redistributing the current path, like here from here to here. Right, initially in previous one, if you see, the current path is simple, right? Now current path is changing longer than this one. Once electrical length increases, that means resonant frequency decreases. So whatever electrical, so because of that, what is happening? So whatever frequency achieved 860 megahertz, it is achieved in 460 megahertz because of this structure 860 to 460. Okay. Now again add 2 more slot in each and every slot. Okay. Now again you can see distributed electrical current change path, longer path. Because of this longer path, this you can see the frequency achieved 350 megahertz over here, 350 megahertz, 860, 460 and 350 megahertz. Now interesting. Now further needs some operation at the 48 megahertz. So what this guy did, then one Mendel line slot has been connected in such a way that the both sides a symmetrical side, so that this lower frequency operation can be achieved by the 48 megahertz within this complex system. So obviously needs biasing circuit. This is printed on the back sides. Okay. So because of this Mendel line structures, you can see overall current length, electrical length increase drastically, so that your frequency reduces drastically. So initially we have 960, 860, 860 to 460, 460 to 360 or 350, 350 to 48. So this is the way based on this. So now for achieving these operations, there are diodes are connected. Okay, each and every points, so that the diode configuration can be controlled by us, by these resources. So like 0 for the off state, 1 for the on states. Okay, so 0 and 1 can be controlled, and accordingly the biasing can be controlled, and this frequency can be switched from one frequency to another frequency, right? Now this is another example, very simple one, are pattern reconfigurable antennas. Okay, so initially you can see one, this is circular patch, this circular patch is there. Okay, this is feed. Okay, now
Sir, there is a query from the one participant, please.
yeah,
So I got one query, sir.
yeah,
Sir, I want to know, even if you can give me some reference paper or some book, how to find out the equivalent circuit of the what you call the circuit patch when you introduce the slot or add a slot or whatever corner you're adding. How to find out the
yeah, you are talking about the equivalent circuit, right?
Yeah, equivalent circuit. How to find out that? I'm really eager to know that one. If
Okay.
this is a reference book or paper, it will be more helpful.
So I told you the initial books. If you've seen,
So those books, sir, those books I referred to, nothing is there. I'm aware
nothing is
of-
there. How can you say?
Sir,
Once you refer this first book, okay, so clearly define the patch
book,
in the cavity model. You can say model expansion model is clearly defined. The microchip patch is a parallel structure of
sir, what
parallel combination of.
I'm requesting, if I suppose I'm
First, listen carefully. Okay.
yes, sir.
Everything needs basics first. You cannot extract the equivalent circuit randomly. Okay. First, we see the patch antenna is a parallel combination of RLC. Simultaneously, once we'll move this book, James and Hall book, okay, and the appendix side, or any MIC book, any MIC micro integrated circuit book, okay. So there are equivalent circuit for each and every component. Suppose we have the rectangle, right angle band, okay. So this right angle band is defined. What would be the equivalent circuit? We have the T band. What would be the equivalent circuit? Okay. If there is a gap between two lines, there is a equivalent circuit for this one. Okay. So there is slot. Okay. It is given here in the slot antennas. Okay. The slot equivalent is gear. Got it? Now, it's your duty. We have to see the current structures, current path, and combine all those structures, how they are connected in the series or parallel combination. We have to see, and we have to validate.
That method of procedure only what I'm requesting, sir.
Yeah.
We can have this
separate slot is just we can make on parallel resonant. Patch we can make parallel resonant. Triangular all we can find out independently. But when combined together, what is the methodology to find the average integrated equivalent circuit?
Yeah, we have to integrate this. No? First, you have to see the structure.
I appreciate, sir. I really appreciate.
Just okay. Come to this structure. Come to this structure. Can you draw the equivalent circuit of this structure? Yeah, whatever structure you see front of the screen, can you draw the equivalent circuit for this structure?
This is insert fed microchip patch.
Yeah. So can you draw the equivalent circuit for this structure?
Exactly. Now, how to proceed it? That's what I'm requesting.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking now. You can see, patch is there, right?
Yes.
Patch is connected with the line, and this is your input point, right? This clear? Now, this patch can be modeled as parallel combination of RLC, right? Then this transmission line is a series component, so L and C would be there. Right? It will come like that.
Fine, sir. It's okay. Really, I appreciate.
Now, so accordingly, you have to see what kind of structure do we have. You have to draw the schematic first.
Sir, the inside cutting is equivalent. How do you get? Where to connect it?
This is a slot. Okay.
Yes.
The slot will give the inductance.
Yes.
Slot will give the inductance. Okay. The line is give the L and C. Okay. And there is the R also. Okay. The line will give LCR. Slot will give inductance only. Lines L because inductance of the length. Okay. Because of this width and length, all those things, they have some resistance also. Okay. And because of these structures coupled with basically ground and this one, there is some capacitance also. Okay. So we have to model, and this all those things, basic structures is given in the previous fundamental books. Okay. Now validate your equivalent circuit. You can use any softwares. Either HFSS you can use, ADS circuit you can use, HFS circuit is there, ADS circuit is there. You can draw your equivalent. You tune the circuit elements and see your performance, whether we are getting or not. Okay. It's up to you. You have to model. No one will teach you. Suppose one random structure is coming, and then how we can make its equivalent. Okay. We have to model this because each and every component has their equivalent. So that's why I'm making this equivalent L equivalent. L equivalent is there. This is LRC, LP, RC, PC. And this, when you are talking about this structure person, so this is the LC tank circuit. LC resonant circuit will occur over there. Okay. Like suppose we have some probe fed patch. The probe fed patch. So how we will model this one? Not like that. Simply everything is given. Like now, we have to model this inductive elements. This inductive elements. This is the L probe. Okay. You have to consider this L probe also. So sometimes you guys are not considering this one. This is inductive elements. Okay. If not, you are just considering this impedance is 50 ohm. But this is a purely inductive. It's not a resistive. Do you know why? It is inductive or resistive? The feed probe. Whatever SMA connector you are using is inductive or resistive. Hello? No one is answering. Hello? Hello?
Tell me, sir.
Yeah, I am asking what you are considering the feed probe is inductive or resistive?
feed you are talking?
Yeah, I am talking the feed probe. SMA connector is inductive or resistive?
You can, if we are using a
It's
constant
inductive,
transmission
sir.
line, you can suitably choose the diameter, then you can
No. You are wrongly moving in from. Okay, I'm just asking. Whatever SMA connectors you are using, is it inductive or resistive?
The voice is not clear, sir. What is that?
The SMA connector is an inductive component or a resistive component?
Which component? SMS.
SMA. You are using a probe as a SMA, na?
SMA connector you are talking, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to connect SMA over there, na? Here.
Yes, sir. Yes,
How
sir.
do you, what will you use to launch the wave? You will use the SMA connector, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the SMA, once you will model in the mathematically modeling, so your SMA is a inductive or resistive?
SMA, the center conductor and our coefficient is chosen such that we
Why we will choose? It is already established.
those established that sir in the interconductor 1.2 outer conductor is around 2.7. If you get around 50 ohm, you get it, and that's
So
how.
I am talking this Z in. I am talking this Z in is 50 ohm. Is it inductive or capacitive or you are resistive? This Z in is 50 ohm. Is it resistive, inductive or capacitive? I am asking these questions.
When he said Z in 50 means in the resistive only.
This is resistance.
Since you're
If it
talking
is a resistance, so what maximum power transfer theorem is say? What is maximum power transfer theorem?
Z in equal to Z out, source impedance equal to load impedance.
Source impedance is equal to load impedance.
Yes.
Okay. So it will transfer the maximum power.
When source impedance matched to the load impedance,
Complex conjugate of the match. Complex conjugate to the input.
yes, sir.
Then maximum power will transfer.
Yes.
Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Simply saying impedance is 50 ohm is not correct. Okay.
Yes.
For maximum power transfer, your input impedance is the complex conjugate of the load.
Yes.
And now your characteristic impedance of the source is 50 ohm. Okay, so we have to transmit this one. So we need some complex things. Complex conjugate of this one. And if you will design resistives, we are saying the SMA is a resistive component is wrong. Okay, that's why we model as a inductive components. Okay, it is correct. Okay, so first use just basics. So let's go through that books. Each and every elements before making any big circuit, we have to see what would be the equivalent circuit for simple line. What would be the circuit for this band, right angle band? Okay, what would be the equivalent circuit for this T-shaped structure? Okay, what would be the equivalent circuit for this gap structure? Okay, might be just wait. Now, suppose I am drawing one structure over here. You just now, okay. So these are the two parallel patch, right? Yeah, parallel. Any two parallel structures. You just consider ground plane on the bottom. This epsilon r. Okay. Now, so there is a gap S. Okay. Now, how do we model this gap? Suppose this is a transmission line. Suppose now make it the like that two parallel.
Capacitive coupling or inductive coupling. The transformer exchange will take place.
Yeah. What you are saying?
Coupling will take place, sir. Between the fringing field will get coupled.
Yeah. So how do we model?
It can be represented as a transformer. We have to put it on transformer in between. Equivalent
So
circuit.
once you just I told you just refer these books. Okay. Once you will, we have this parallel transmission line, any parallel transmission line. Okay. So we have to see, we don't know what kind of mode will generate. Okay. So for the analysis purpose, we have to consider odd mode and even mode. Okay. We don't know practically what will happen, because once we launch the wave, okay, how they will couple, we don't know. So initially we assumed odd mode and even mode. Okay. Because this will occur in both way. So in even mode, when field configuration in the same directions,
Yes.
and odd mode when field configuration in the opposite directions. Okay.
Yes.
So we have to consider both the modes. Okay. And accordingly we have to consider, so when so you can see, once we have this model, when we will be this modeling of this structure. Okay. And there is a ground. Okay. So from this element to this element, ground, one capacitance will come. For this one capacitance will come, right? Now from this element to this element, there is also a capacitance will come. Okay. This is Cp, this is Cp, and this is the, suppose Cs, because this gap is S. This can be modeled. Okay. This is the general equivalent circuit. Now when we are applying this even mode and odd mode symmetry, okay, so because of this even mode and odd mode symmetry, so there is an imaginary line will draw, or once you will see, because of this imaginary line in even mode, what will happen? Then odd mode opposites, so this will discards. Okay, only one capacitance will occur, and even modes, all three will occur. So when we are combining these two cases, we have to consider Z in equal to Z odd plus Z even. Okay. Then your equivalent circuit will come, the input impedance for this equivalent circuit. So putting equivalents, you can see, you have to consider the entire things. Not, we cannot consider this equivalent will come. There is no inductance. You can see there is no inductance of this one for this gap. We have modeled the gap only. We have modeled the gap, patch a line as it is. We have only modeled this gap, the equivalent circuit of this gap. It is clear? I think it is clear to everyone how we are modeling. Because one capacitance from here to here, one from here to there, and one from here to there. Okay. This is the, so we have to consider. Is clear? So similarly, you can see this structure basically first. On this slot structure, or this you can see, this one circular patch is there, and this circular patch and this ground structure, there is an inner ring. This, so this circular patch is connected with this ground plane via these two diodes. Okay, these two diodes. Okay, so at a time, so one time this, when diode is connected, that means on state there will be connection. Okay, and off state both are separated. You can see. So when diode is off, this looks like a circular patch. Okay, you can see. And when it is on, there is a connection between this one. Okay, so when connection is there, so this will act as a complete, is a electrical length increases. Okay, so there is a simply feed is, everything is there. Only what is happening, the pattern is changing. Okay, the pattern is changing, one pattern to another pattern because of that. So you can see one pattern dipole like, and one pattern this one like. Okay, these two kind of patterns are observed by changing the on and off states. Okay, so this is pattern reconfigurability. Similarly, one very interesting example of pattern reconfigurability. So I think it is visible to everyone. You can see it is visible. One center, this is this blue component. Okay, this blue component, it is kept over here. Okay, and this green one are 4. Okay, so this green one is your driven element. This is your driven element. The driven element where source is connected. Okay, means it is the radiating element, and all these 4 guys are the reflectors. Okay, now if you see very carefully this particular point, you can see, okay, there is tiny elements. This one diode is connected, so this bigger large one, so this is the green portion, the diode is connected. Okay, the L1 and L2 distance is there and the diode is connected. So the equivalent circuit of diodes in the based on the basically the OEM side, it is given for the on state what is the equivalent, and off state what is the equivalent of this diode. Okay, we don't talking about this one. Now you can see when it is in on state, when it will be in on state, what will happen? This whole strip will be single. When it is off, only half of the strip will active. Okay, now once this antenna will radiate, at a time one diode is on. Okay, yeah, at a time one diode is off, rest of this on. Okay, means you can see. So one by one switching action, what will happen? You can see when one is connected, one is off, others are off, on. So you are getting one particular beam, case 1, suppose case 2, case 3. One beam is coming in this direction, other beam is coming in direction, and one beam is coming in direction. So in 4 directions, because of this reflector, suppose this is off and this is on. So entire energy will pushing in this particular direction. Then in this direction, this. So all 4 directions of pattern can move, or this basically this is a one omnidirectional pattern will come, but it can be directed towards in particular directions. Okay, so this is monopole results and this is coming in particular direction. Okay, so this is the pattern reconfigurability. Now observe very carefully, this is a slot made on these structures. So what is how we can just see the current distributions and how the LSCP to RSCP is occurred by changing the directions only. Okay, very carefully you can see this current direction is moving. If you observe both the things, you can see opposite to each others, right? So these are the basic things. So Athens, hello Athens. Hello Athens. Where is the organizers?
Ji sir.
Yeah. So now it is going to be 1:20.
Yes sir.
Yeah. So we can leave the session for 10-minute discussion.
Okay sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So I am stopping my presentation over here because my presentation look almost 4 hours. Okay, to complete.
Okay,
So you cannot be completed now entire things in 2 hours.
yes sir.
So I thinking so left the session for discussions, right?
Yes sir.
Okay.
Anybody from the participants would like to discuss?
So
anything?
because initially Atin told me that
Yes sir.
some guys having some basic questions,
Yes
they
sir.
would like to interact. So they just switch on their cameras and come forward.
Yes sir.
So can interact. Even all the guys can switch on their cameras. No
Yes.
issue. Yeah. So,
Anybody want to ask any question?
so I can see your faces also.
Actually, sir, few of them are freshers in PhD, sir.
Yeah, they can come forward.
They were having lots of discussion with me yesterday night. So
They
I
have from
told them,
IERT or from some other places.
yes sir.
कहाँ आप ही के यहाँ क्या है कहाँ के?
नहीं ये लोग सारे लोग बाहर के हैं,
Okay.
वहाँ से कोई नहीं है सर.
So ask them to just switch on their cameras and come forward so that we can discuss.
Please switch on the cameras. Please come forward. Anybody want to ask any questions? Anybody? I think most of them have finished.
सबके क्यूरीज खत्म हो गई लगता है.
जी सर, कल
नो,
तो बहुत ज्यादा
थैंक यू वेरी मच.
आ गया सर.
नहीं, are you going to continue this session because means many things are yet undiscussed, so I think we should
So you
continue.
can come forward and so we can discuss in a very short because we have the time is very less. Because 1:30 is the no.
Yes.
So we have to
Next
finish.
session.
We discuss about array antennas little bit if you can just.
Yeah. So just ask your questions. We can discuss.
2:30.
Array antenna itself is very wide. If you read the C.A. Balani books, so you can understand things.
Okay.
So if you have any specific questions, so we can discuss.
Jyoti Mishra ma'am, would you like to ask something? Jyoti Mishra ma'am. Okay. Okay then, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
You have shot out all the queries of the participants, sir. It was a
Yes.
very nice session, and in a very few sessions we used to have the equivalent circuit, sir. Even I was also during my PhD part, I was also suffering with that question.
Okay.
How to know the equivalent circuit, sir?
Yeah. So ask everyone. So when I will announce the basically workshop,
Yes, sir.
for those who are interested in would like to learn, they can join my workshop. Okay.
Ji,
So
ji.
whenever, so I will just share the information. So you just broadcast among them.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Ji, sir.
So maybe I will announce the workshop soon. Okay.
Ji, ji.
My workshop is pending.
Ji.
So if you guys so just ask your coordinator Yatin Gaurav. Okay. Maybe there will be a WhatsApp group.
Yes, sir.
So I will forward my brochure of the workshop. So obviously this is an online mode, but it's not free. You have to
Free.
pay to learn. Okay. If you would like to learn, you have to pay and you have to register yourself. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
So
good, sir.
yeah. So
Thank you,
I will just make the plan. Then I will just make it accordingly. Okay. Then we will resolve many things. Then this guy can learn how to make the equivalent circuit using the HFSS circuit as well as the IDS circuit.
Ji.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.